Hi, everyone. So today I'd like to share my story and how my porn addiction started. Um, I'm going to be honest here, but I'm not going to explain specific details of my addiction, like the um, inappropriate details. So I basically started when I was like 12. And so that was the um, time when, when I'm 45, so that was about when I was, that's about 1992. So pretty much porn in those times were magazines. That's where the only source you would get it from. And that's always source that I looked at. For the most part, most about 8 years of my addiction, it was mostly soft porn, and so like bras and bikinis. Um, but yeah, so let me explain uh, pretty much the fact that my testimony was really strong in the church. Um, Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and it still has been. But um, because I had testimony, I still didn't use that testimony uh, to get free from porn. I didn't see it as a problem. So why deal with it? Why do anything with it? I didn't really get the lessons and uh, really didn't hear anything or search for anything of why it was wrong. Um, that was pretty much my thought that I if it's not wrong, then why stop it? Um, why not? Why should I just keep on doing it? So I my addiction wasn't really um, every day um, back then, but I still considered it addiction because it was something that I thought of a lot. And I didn't really think of girls in the correct way, and I thought I looked at them as objects most of my um, teen years and my before teen and preteen years. Yeah, so it continued that cycle of maybe every week or every 2 weeks. And when I got into high school, um, the internet came up, but I still didn't use it. It wasn't prevalent really on the internet. Um, I didn't really use it for the internet, but I still looked at it once in a while and still had that thought, that girls are objects. And for a long time, I didn't think. Um, I thought that okay, that's fine. Um, when it came to my mission, I I stopped. There was really no way of well, there could have been a way I could have looked at it on my mission, but I never really thought about it. I did have one experience on my mission where my person we were teaching, he had some inappropriate pictures on the wall, but it didn't really bother me. I just didn't look at them, and it didn't even remind me about my addiction because um, just didn't. And I, like I said, I stayed strong before my mission with my testimony. But as far as my addiction, because I didn't think it was wrong, I was still thinking I was a good person. Of course, you're not really a bad person if you look at porn, because God sees us as His children, and He loves us all the same. But I'm talking about a judgment, which some people think about those who do look at porn. Some people see us as bad people. We are not bad people. Okay, that's one thing we have to get past. If we're going through an addiction, we need to know, we need to tell ourselves that we're not bad people. Everybody sins in a certain way. It's the natural man. Uh, but you also got to think, just because you're saying to yourself you're not a bad person doesn't mean there's nothing wrong with it. There's still something wrong with it. So I'll explain that more in my videos. But these two videos, this one's part one, and the next one's part two. About just my experience with my addiction. So, anyways, so when I was 14, I can tell you how my testimony got really strong. Um, I was going through some doubts, and I didn't know if God was real. I explained some of this before in some of my other videos. Before I talked about my addiction. Those videos are basically um, telling about my mental illness. So you can look at those videos too, to read up more on my past. But so when I was, like I said, when I was 14, I had some doubts, and I decided, I've been taught by my family to pray. That was a huge principle that my family taught. We taught the family that prayer, that God answers prayers, and I knew that, even though I didn't know if God was there or not. I still knew that if He was, He would answer my prayer. So I knelt down and I asked God if He was real, and I really felt a strong um, spirit come over me. I felt like a blanket wrapping me up. It was a really warm feeling, and so I decided to keep on praying because I wanted to know more. If more was true that I've been taught, I asked about the Book of Mormon. I asked about the Church of Jesus Christ, Latter-day Saints. I asked a lot of questions to see if everything that I've been taught was true. And I got the same feeling for all of it, every single thing. I actually finished the Book of Mormon before I did this prayer, and it said to the Book of Mormon. It says in Moroni to ask God if these things are true, and so that's basically the reason why I started having doubts, and I started thinking, "Is this for real?" So when I asked that, not only did I feel a warm, loving feeling from God, I also felt something really something that I did not understand at the time, and it was a hand on my shoulder. It felt like a physical touch, and it gave me so much warmth and love that after I finished my prayer, I really wanted to know who actually touched me. I didn't think it was God or Jesus, um, just because if it was God or Jesus, I probably would have seen them. They have bodies like us. That too was answered in my prayer. It, I would have seen them. Um, if it was, and I just thought, who actually touched me? I looked behind me, didn't see anybody, but it felt really good. And that hand on my shoulder, as I prayed again, I asked, who touched my shoulder? And it was my deceased grandpa. He spoke to me saying, yes, it was me. Um, I recognized the voice and everything. So that's basically how my testimony was. My that was my foundation of my testimony for a long time, for all the way until I turned 20, 26, 25. I'll explain the next um, thing that happened when I was 25 in the next video. Uh, so that's pretty much everything. So I kept it a secret, my addiction. I didn't want to tell anybody. Uh, just want to make sure I got everything here that I wanted to talk about. Yeah, so here's the 5 reasons, basically, of why, and I'll explain a few of them, but here's the gist of it, of why I kept it a secret. Rejection. So rejection that everybody would think I'm a bad person, which goes along with the number 2, which is judgment. Uh, it it also felt good. If you have a, if you've been if you have an addiction, you would know that it actually has an effect on you that actually does feel good. It's a fake good, but it feels good. Um, the thing with porn addiction, it's a dopamine of feeling. So good pleasure and stuff. It just feels good. Um, and actually, God, He did create sex. He created it to have us um, have a special love with our future wives or with our wives, or even for the girls, future husbands, um, or their husbands. And so, um, also, I just wasn't doing anything wrong anyway. Like I thought, oh yeah, I wasn't doing anything wrong, so why stop? Um, and I thought I was a good person too. If you really look back in my life, I was told by a lot of people that I wasn't really a bad person. I A lot of people would say I was very kind and very generous. Um, I'm not really being biased here because that I know for a fact has been said. Um, in fact, throughout my whole life, I've been told that I am a kind person and I love people for who they are. I don't give. I give it. I give them compassion and I love them who they are. Now the thoughts is what was hiding behind the my wall of kindness. It was like So people didn't know that I was thinking of girls that way most of the time, and it just didn't dawn on me to even reveal it. Like, eh, doesn't matter, you know? I also wasn't taught that it was bad. And if I wasn't taught, well, if I was taught, then I shrugged it off. But I didn't, I didn't, it wasn't like prevalent talking about it. Um, it was mentioned in my life. It was. But it's now more prevalent it's now more warned against. I'm sure there were some talks and things, but if you ignore it, of course you're going to keep on doing it. So that's what happened. I ignored it and kept on doing it. So that's the gist of it. That's the whole part one. Part two will focus on after my mission and how it got worse. It pretty much got worse for everyone. I can say I can probably tell you that right now. Anybody who has an addiction right now, probably it's because the internet was big and got bigger. The invention of the internet just it was very prevalent. Probably said that word 20 times in my video, but it is true. The devil works slowly, and he's done it faster now because Jesus Christ is coming. He knows he has very short time to gather people to his side. And to lead people away from Christ. So that's what he was basically doing to me, and I was following those temptations. But something happened that stopped it all. I really wanted to get rid of it, and that will be more explained in the next video. So that's it for this video, and I'll see you later, okay? Bye-bye.